Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning, thank you all for coming to participate in this Shravanam and Kirtanam process of self-realization. We're reading from Canto 5, Chapter 10, text and also number 10. So I'll read the sloka. Sadhulayam karsayam viyadhaya adhasya cha kisutrid bhavyam kalir ichha jara cha Nidra ratir manyur aham adha sucho Dihinya jatasya himena santi Sadhaluyam karsyam viyadhaya adhasya cha Kusutrid bhayam kalir ichha jara cha Nidra ratir manyuraham madha sucho Dihina jatasya himena santi. Someone else? Salam kasyam vyajam ajasya cha Chacham Nadir ratir manya raham smadam sucho Dehinaya jatas himeni nasati Stahalyam kasyam vijayam adadhasya cha Kushute Vadyam Varayir Kalir Ichana Jada Nidrauratir Manyer Aham Madha Sucho Mataji's Satoyam Pasham Kusutrid Bhayam Kalir Ichaya Jaracha Nidra Ratir Manyer Aham Bhajya Sucho Dehina Jatasya Himena Satyanti Stahulayam, being very stout and strong. Karsyam, being skinny and weak. Vyadhaya, the pains of the body, such as disease. Adhadhaya, the pains of the mind. Cha and Ksutribayaham, hunger, thirst, and fear. Kalhi, quarrels between two persons. Icha, desire. Jara, old age. Cha and Nidra, sleep. Rati, attachment for sense gratification. Manhuya, anger. Aham, false identification in the bodily conception of life. Madha, illusion. Sucha, lamentation. Dihina, with this body. Jatasya, one who has taken birth. He, certainly. Me, of me. Na, not. Santi, exists. Purport and translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Fatness, thinness, bodily and mental distresses, thirst, hunger, fear, disagreement, desire for material happiness, old age, sleep, attachment for material possessions, anger, lamentation, illusion, and identification of the body with the self are all transformations of the material covering of the spirit soul. A person absorbed in material bodily conception is affected by these things, but I am free from all bodily conceptions. Consequently, I am neither fat nor skinny, nor anything else you have mentioned. Purport. Srila Narottama Das Thakur has sung Dihasmritya nahi yara samsara bandhanam kahantara. One who is spiritually advanced has no connection with the body or with the body's actions and reactions. When one comes to understand that he is not the body and therefore is neither fat nor skinny, one attains the topmost form of spiritual realization. When one is not spiritually realized, when one is not spiritually realized, the bodily conceptions entangle one in this material world. At the present moment, all human society is laboring under bodily conceptions. Therefore, in the Shastras, people in this age are referred to as Dvipada Pasu, two-legged animals. No one can be happy in a civilization conducted by such animals. Our Krishna consciousness movement is trying to raise fallen human society to the status of spiritual understanding. It is not possible for everyone to become immediately self-realized like Jad Bharat. However, as stated in Bhagavatam 1:218, Nasta prayasyu abhadrasyu nitya bhagavata sevaya. By spreading the Bhagavata principles, we can raise human society to the platform of perfection. When one is not affected by the bodily conception, one can advance to the Lord's devotional service. Nasta prayasyu abhadrasyu nitya bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttamasloke bhaktir bhavati naistaki. The more we advance our freedom from bodily conceptions, the more we are fixed in devotional service, and the more we are happy and peaceful in this regard. Srila Madhavacharya says that those who are too materially affected continue the bodily conception. Such persons are concerned with different bodily symptoms, whereas one freed from bodily conceptions lives without the body even in the material conditions. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana Salakaya Chakshusum Militam Jnana Tasmai Shri Gurave Shri Chaitanya Marubhristam Srapitang Yena Bhutile Swayam Rupa Karamaya Parante Swaparante Kam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Vitapati Karalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanshtam Shri Rupam Sagrajatang Saguna Rahuganatang Nidang Tang Sajevam Sahadvaitang Sadvaitang Krishna Chaitang Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saguna Lalita Shri Vishika Nitangshcha. So this king, Rahugana, he is very proud of his so-called exalted position. But as far as monarchs are concerned, he is a pipsqueak. Pipsqueak means just a little guy. He's not a big king. We know the history of Jad Bharat when he was Maharaj Bharat. And Maharaj Bharat ruled not just one tiny portion of one country, but he ruled the entire world. It's described that his reign in his kingdom was 1,000 years times 10,000. So if you do the math, that's a long time. He was king. And everybody within his kingdom were extremely pleased and happy, because when the monarch is functioning according to the principles of Dharma, the earth doesn't withhold the necessities of life. So we need certain things in our lives to survive. Sufficient and ample foodstuffs, clean and pure water, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram, Shri Shri Radhashama Sundar Lalita Vishaka Devi Ki Jai. So we need all of these things to survive. But this king who had become disturbed by Jad Bharat's behavior. Now we know that in one life his consciousness was fixed at the moment of death on a small deer, and therefore he was forced to take his birth as a deer. And again, unlike all of us, he was able to recall his previous life, and in that form lamented his behavior. And then now, taking birth as Jad Bharat, he is acting as a fool, keeping himself unkempt, dirty, everything that will discourage anyone from wanting any type of association with him. Why? Not because he is antisocial, but because he was determined not to fall prey again to any of the illusionary activities that the material energy could cause him to be affected by. He gave a list here of just some of these things. But the king, being puffed up and proud of his small little kingdom, was insulted that this person whom they happened by chance to find on the road and used him to replace one of their fallen palanquin bearers, that his travel was being disrupted and disturbed. So therefore, the king, being so proud, wanted in some way to humiliate or chastise or punish Jad Bharat. So what did he do? He called him all sorts of different names, saying that he's weak when actually his body was very stout and strong, and so forth. But up until this point, Jad Bharat had not spoken, and he simply listened to the king, and finally he returned the king's insults in a kind way by saying, yes, all of these things you say may be true, but I myself am not affected by any of these because I am not this body. So this behavior of the king, expressing anger and disappointment and other unkind qualities, they can also be applied to everyone here. We are still all under this influence of the material energy, and How many times in a day do you get angry? Some small thing caused by adhyatmic, adhibhotik, adhidaivik ignites that flame of anger, and therefore we may express that anger towards another living entity. But there are some people that when they get angry, their solution is to break things. So they go into the house. You see so many times in movies where someone gets angry and they smash the lamp, they break the television, they do this, they do that, and they destroy all of their material possessions. And how foolish is this? Because now they have to replace the broken TV and the broken lamp and all of these other things, costing them more labor in this material world, working hard to save money again to buy these things, to go deeper in debt by charging all of these broken things on their credit cards. And this will last for some time, but all of these symptoms that are caused by passion, ignorance, they are reoccurring daily. They are reoccurring in our lives. So, what to do? How to rid ourselves of all of these things? And where do all of these things reside? So, we know that Jad Bharat said that I am not suffering from any of these difficulties as the majority of humans are in this material world. That is because I have already cleansed my heart. My heart is clean. So therefore, nothing that you say, it will disturb me, because my heart has become cleansed. Now, we know that Jad Bharat was living in a different yuga, a different time, and in each and every yuga there is a recommended process for self-realization to clean your heart. That's why Bhagavatam is always full of stories of, just like Bharat Maharaj had gone to the forest and sat in secluded place to meditate. And these meditations would last sometimes thousands of years. So it took that long for them to cleanse their heart. Can you imagine, you know, today there are so many schools where they're teaching yoga. You know, basically it's hatha yoga, teaching you how to stretch your body this way, stretch your body that way, how to bend down, forward and backward, and move your head this way and that way. And basically Srila Prabhupada said, and I had heard him say this, we don't do Hatha Yoga. So I'm sorry for any of you out there who are in your rooms practicing this type of yoga. But at that period of time, it had its purpose, because now we're sitting here cross-legged, and maybe for an hour we could sit without feeling too much discomfort, but for 10,000 years to sit like this. So therefore they practice these different types of yoga in order to fulfill their priority goal, and that was to cleanse their heart of the contaminations that were being inflicted upon them by Maya. So each class when I speak, I talk about Maya, but Maya is our friend or she is our enemy. And in most cases, she is definitely not our friend. She is inflicting all of these things. She is causing the king to speak such harsh and demeaning words to a Mahabhagavat, to a great saintly personality, which in itself is an offense. To speak ill of such exalted personalities, there are repercussions. So we know that the heart is covered. And how do we begin to clean the heart? You see people in the morning taking bath, cleaning their bodies, scrubbing it vigorously with their lupa and soap and shampoos and so many different ointments and creams that they rub on their body to make it smell nice and to be fresh. And then for a man, if he's a businessman, he puts on his suit, his trousers, and tightens up his tie and makes sure his hair is nice. And then he is saying, I'm clean, I'm ready. But these dirty things remain in his heart. He goes downstairs and immediately what does he do? He shouts at his wife, where's my coffee? You know, you can't do anything right. Blah, 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 blah. So anger is there residing within his heart. It hasn't been cleansed away. So how do we go to the core of our heart and clean it? So this cleansing process of the heart begins by hearing through your ear. Now, during the day, we are hearing constantly so much gibberish, prajapal, as it's described in the Vedas. And if we lend our ear to that type of conversation, what happens? The covering of our true self becomes more and more encrusted with nonsense. But we must take the examples of great personalities, such as Parikshit Maharaj. How did he become pure? By hearing the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the person who spoke to him, Sukadeva Goswami, also became pure by speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. So, what is this called? Shravanam Kirtanam. Hearing and repeating. We must train ourselves to be only anxious to hear topics that are related to Krishna. Krishna is, of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by hearing these topics daily, not just periodically, oh yeah, I'll go to Bhagavatam class today, and then for the next 3 weeks I'll stay and play video games on my computer during Bhagavatam class. This is not how it works, but it's a consistent desire to hear about the Supreme Lord. And what happens when this hearing takes place? The cleansing process of the heart begins. But now, to perform these types of service and meditation and yoga, as we are reading about these sages, even there were sages, I don't remember his name, but he went to the bottom of the sea and sat in meditation in the bottom of the sea, wanting not to be disturbed, so his meditation would be focused. But unfortunately, even at the bottom of the sea, Maya is there. So what happened? He saw 2 fish copulating, having sex, and then from his deep meditation and determination to get out of this material world and severe austerity, his mind began to think about, oh yes, those fish were having sex. Sex, okay, sex, 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 sex. So what did he do? He left his site of meditation, came back up to the land and sought out a woman to marry, and with his marriage begetting children, and with his children needing a house, and needing furniture, and having furniture needing to have some respect in the community, and obligations, and this and that and this and that and this and that. So all of that hard work was destroyed by one moment, visually seeing the activities of these 2 fish. So we don't want these things to happen to us, but they still do happen. The tricks that Maya uses for you will also work on you, and if she cannot entice you with that trick, she will have another trick in which she will use to distract you from your process of self-realization. But again, remember, it begins through hearing. And in this age of Kali Yuga, it's been made so easy for us to make spiritual advancement through this hearing process. How many are initiated? You are an initiated devotee? Yes? And what is your name? Pankaj Nagavdas. Okay, so do you remember your initiation ceremony? Yes. Do you remember what your Guru Maharaj said to you when you came up? These are words that he gave to you at that moment that should live for eternity within your heart. And after he told you your name and gave you your beads, do you still have the beads that you received at initiation? How many devotees have their original beads? So, less than 50% have their original beads. For me, 47 years I've kept these beads very close as the most prized possession given to me by Srila Prabhupada. But when you receive initiation, along with your beads, there is also an attachment, something that comes with these beads. And do you have that? Or do you just have your beads? You receive two things when you get initiated. If you can please come here for 1 second. What does this say? Can you read? No, read.
You plant these in the heart of all human beings.
You plant these in the heart of all human beings. And what does this side say?
Seeds of devotion.
Seeds of devotion. They come attached to your japa beads when you get them. At first, you may not be able to see them, but as you progress, thank you very much, as you progress in your devotional service to the Lord, you distribute this seed, this little tiny seed, to every human that you meet, even if it's by just saying Hare Krishna. And that Hare Krishna will penetrate through the ear and it will rest in the heart of that living entity. It is there now for eternity. But every gardener knows that you must cultivate. So the seed must germinate itself. And how does the seed of devotion germinate within these people? Now, years and years and years and years ago, we would go on the streets every day to do Harinam, spending 10 hours a day chanting Hare Krishna and dancing and distributing Srila Prabhupada's. At that time we had only Back to Godhead. We didn't have books like we do today. But some people would come out for lunch and would sit there and they would just hear the Hare Krishna mantra. And so the seed was penetrated into their heart. But there were others who would return by saying to us, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So the germination process takes place when that living entity that you have given the seed to also begins to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. The devotional creeper starts out very small and it's very delicate, and it can be choked out just like in any garden. I believe in Hindi, Mali is the name for a gardener. So the Mali, what does he do? He plants his seeds in the garden, and as they begin to grow, each day he walks up and down the aisles of his garden, and he will pluck out any of the unwanted growth, the weeds which can choke the plant and make it die. So for us, we have been also been given instructions to be wary of things that can cause detriment to your progress on your path back to Godhead. Who knows what these are? Offenses, yes. Every morning, what do? We chant the 10 offenses to the holy name. Is this simply like having a parrot? The parrot is saying this, but he has absolutely no knowledge. He's just able to mimic these sounds. So we learn what these 10 offenses are, and each and every day we must be cautious as we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, not to commit any of these offenses. Otherwise, our guru creeper will become entangled in the weeds of Maya, and our progress can be stifled by making offenses. Some offenses are much, much, much more serious than others, but any of these 10 offenses, please be careful and guard against making any offenses to the holy name. Because this holy name, this chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is, what did Lord Chaitanya say? Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gata.